Yeah, I'm Dr. TPS from Hyderabad. I'm a retired space scientist. I'm a life mentor. Basically a mathematician, but turned into a life mentor. I was with the Prime Minister's office for a few years in Delhi, where Shivali is from. When 2009, I took my retirement. So I'm totally into social service now, basically an academician. Communication and interaction. When I can transform my reactions into responses, probably I become more mature. So it's the way, if you can overshadow your reactions, and then the response is what people look at it. I'm sure the desired outcome of my discussion is into focus. Most of the time reactions close your desired outcome. So sometimes you need to hold, don't jump into the communication so fast, give time, maybe the other person understands. So it needs some time to understand. That will make your interaction, communication better. So response is a result oriented, solution oriented program, whereas reaction is a emotional but not intellectual. So emotional intelligence, I authored a book on emotional intelligence. You can become much more matured, emotional intelligence, become reactive to situations. That reaction becomes a response. If you are not using your intelligence, only emotion, that response, that interaction becomes sometime non-productive. Not necessarily reactions always becomes negative, not necessarily. That's what I believe. So the positive outcome is what is that you require, response is better. Emotional only, it becomes a reaction. Emotional intelligence becomes a response. That's what I feel. See, we call this program as a conversation, but even an outsider looking at it, they don't feel it's a conversation because it's more like a formatted communication. So I found the Bob was interleaving this word and then saying conversation and communication. That is what happens to most of the people when they talk about the reaction and response also. There is a confusion in between these two. Very casual thing what we do is a conversation. Suppose somebody leads a program and say you speak, it cannot be a conversation. Conversation is very casual. Similarly, reactions are very casual. So when it is formatted, then automatically there is a maturity. So what will happen? I will wait until somebody give the handle and say you speak, you are on stage. So when I react also, what do I do? Yeah, there was a direct question. How do you make this happen in day-to-day activity? There are few phrases probably you could use. Yeah, I see there is some good point in what's happening now. So when I see that there is a good point there, I am holding my reactions. So one best word to use is, oh, I see. I am a meditation master from Himalayas. So what we do is, we don't learn, there is nothing called a meditation which can be taught in anybody in this world. What we teach is only silence. You be silent. Maybe I don't like the way somebody talks to me. I keep silent. So what do I do? In fact, I'm talking to myself, oh, there is some point which may be right. Let me take that point. I am forcing myself to think. Maybe my reaction could be, oh, I think you have a point which could be right. Or I feel this is how it should happen. Or I need to understand you much better. These are all something which prompt me to react. That exactly is what Shivali was also telling and Bobo was also telling. I be aware of my situation. So what do? The reactions are when you have a bigger position and you feel the rest of the people are below you. So when you react back, you are actually countering their position. So best thing for learning response is be grounded. Though you have a power, don't show it. Show it low. and say, yeah, let them show the power. So let me enjoy that. There no, then that becomes a response. If somebody shows power, it becomes a reaction, because reaction is correcting somebody else. How do you acquire this? You need to have social skill. You need to react to a lot of people, get that back onto you. Then you understand, oh, I have done something wrong. So that's a natural process of polishing yourself. One. Number two could be on the ground. Number three could be you have empathy to somebody else. So maybe a very a handicapped person has thrown something, and then he has, while eating, something has fallen. You don't react to him. You know that he has some problem. So what do? You say that don't worry, I will clean it. Maybe a young child is making something to fall. You don't scold them. You don't react. Actually, the basic instinct to react. You know the child is too young. Let me not react. So what do? Don't worry, I will clean it. That will be my response. So you are giving a solution than finding a problem. So once you get to that, you are more matured, and others, let them say because they have some problem. That guarantees a way of dealing with with a lot of empathy on somebody else, with a lot of consideration to somebody else, understanding somebody's status, probably understanding that is what I have to give an importance to somebody else, so I get grounded. That's an overall analysis which we have to practice by daily dealing with many situations. That's what we do. So saying something in return is response, but saying something with an emotion or influencing your ego is what is reaction. So keep your ego down. That is the best thing. I think that is what I said. Use the phrases like I see, I think, I feel. Exactly what Bob was telling. If I reframe it, probably the perceiver have got a basic background. So whatever the other person say, the perceiver perceives the way the perceiver want to perceive, and not the way the speaker want me to perceive. So there is a difference in my standpoint and other person's standpoint. So how do we patch it up? Very simple mechanism. I accept Carla as Carla, Shivali as Shivali, Bob as Bob. When Bob says, I rate it according to that. When Shivali says, according to that. And Carla says, I accordingly value it and then take it to that way. So if I can accept people as they are, I will not be demanding too much. I will take it, yeah, this is how that person is. So my response becomes accordingly different. So accepting people as they are is one solution for most of the problems. I should not expect too much from somebody else. I know, oh, this person has only this much. And best method, oh, if by mistake I have not understood perfectly, that is where I can paraphrase, I can clarify. All that can happen. So I put the same point and tell you, this is what I understood. Is it that what you mean? So it could be paraphrasing it, reframing it, and getting a clarification. That solves most of the problems. We have a great book called Bhagavad Gita, in which a great lesson from God, Krishna, is given to Arjuna. You will see more questions than answers. It's always whatever he says will be reframed and asked a question. Answer for that question becomes another chapter. And next chapter starts with a question. So actual emotional intelligence is dealt there. What he said is, what comes from your heart, the feelings, the manas. In India we call it as manas, the heart feeling. That is instantaneous, spontaneous. Whereas intelligence will take reasons. Is it correct? To whom I am saying? I will be very cautious about saying to whom. See, for example, I am seeing of say VVIP and by mistake my hand gone inside the car door and got jammed. I don't even react. I don't even cry. Though the tears will come, I will hold it and say, yeah, no problem. It was my mistake. I put my hand there. Suppose it happens to somebody where you have a freedom to react. The reaction will be entirely different. So it all depends. It all depends. So you need to understand to whom you are responding. That is what is essential. If I do something and after some time, I should not keep my hand on my head and say, oh, I should not have told this. If anything makes me to do that, that means what you have done is reacting. If I keep saying myself, yes, what I did is perfect, that becomes a response. So it's not the time when you speak, after that when you think about it, that means you are again looking for justification. No, you are looking what I have done is correct or not. If you look at Maslow's the triangle, we have physical in the bottom, emotional, intellectual, social. So my reactions are intellectual, reaching close to society, accepted by many, and the topmost is spiritual. When you become spiritually higher, definitely your reactions are emotionally intelligent reactions. You will not feel, oh, I should not have done it, is not there in the dictionary at all. So being spiritual makes you much more acceptable to the society. At that point of time, even the person who is listening to me feel, oh, he was wrong. But later he will realize what I communicated was perfect. So it is not important how I feel. Communication is not what I speak. Communication is what it makes sense to the other listener. Communication doesn't end by my dialogue. It ends in the ears of the person who is listening it. So when they listen, they feel, oh, what he said is correct. That we already discussed. The perceiver perceives the way the perceiver wants to perceive, and not the way the speaker, whoever is speaking, want you to perceive. That naturally happens. That's why you need a time, patience, understand, raising level, maybe coming down. All that is must. That needs a time to catch up. The basic difference of when somebody speaks, I listen, I try to understand. But today what is happening is we keep comparing because we have a lot of sample sets. So we are not actually listening to understand. Most of the time what is happening today is we judge people. We compare people, we interpret, we analyze. So much of confusion, and there is something already kept. Oh, this person is like this. We do a lot of research and sufficient data is there. So what happens is it's a confused world. Earlier, when somebody speaks, my idea is to learn and understand internally, and then that understanding is what I am carrying. This is what is the difference basically. That is what I mean by saying raising to the same level. So sometime you will have to come down, or maybe you have to raise them up. So the matchable understanding is my frequency is matched with the person who is listening. That's very, very essential. That is why we should accept them as they are, and probably if doesn't happen, ignore. Nothing else can be done. Yeah, I felt that reaction could be a FM frequency wave with more vibrations with less of wavelength. AM can be a bigger wavelength, so the longevity is more. So if you compare, reactions becomes an FM which has got a shorter wave life, too much of frequency. AM is more of wavelength, so it can accommodate anything in between.